to computerise all the records. But I told them I'm not doing it. It weren't on my job description. No, they just have to pay me more money. I'm not trained for it. Oh, hang on a minute.
I've had a slight accident, and I wondered...
Yeah, sorry, go on, what was you saying?
Thank you.
Oh, I know, she had the same problems, didn't she? Yeah. What, she blew it up? No. You're joking. I told him I'm not doing it.
Do you have a pen I could borrow?
Sorry?
Thank you.
Well, I contacted the union. I mean, it was all right for you because they told you that was part of your job to begin with, but it weren't mine. I'm not trained for it. No, I'm definitely not doing it.
She's four, so I thought she's all right now, sweet, you know, because when she was up with us, it was a bit wild, but anyway, so the next thing here, she's joking. Unfortunately.
Hold on a second.
I'm not quite sure what to put there. I've put serious head injury, but it seems...
Yeah, go on, carry on. Did she?
Thank you.
Oh, she didn't, did she?
Sorry, yeah. No. Yeah. Well, that's right, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. That caused accident. Yeah, because you did a fraction. No, because you were well, you're just going to have to tell him. So, I know, but you've got to hear.
Just tell me who did this to you. That's all I want to know. Who was he?
Mr. Wheaton. Mr. Wheaton. Mr. Wheaton, I haven't got all night, you know. Will you come over, please?
I thought you'd forgotten about me.
We don't forget people, Mr. Wheaton. We don't train half our lives to forget. Do you know, there are only 3 doctors on duty to deal with everybody here and the ambulance cases. I don't think people realise the extent of the understaffing in this hospital. There isn't a single nurse who hasn't done a 10-hour shift. I'm on my 13th hour. You should think yourself lucky that we fitted you in so soon.
I'm sorry.
No. Wheaton, Gordon Oliver, 23 Leinster Gardens, occupation civil servant.
Yes. Inland Revenue, actually.
I see. Have you perhaps thought, Mr. Wheaton, that if your Inland Revenue passed on a bit more of its money to the National Health Service, you wouldn't have had to wait at all? Let's have a look at you.
I'm in the collection department. I don't have anything to do with dealing out the money.
No, of course not.
But if I did, I certainly would have.
It is a head injury.
Yes. Yes, I think it is. I can't remember too much. You see, I wanted to feed the cat.
Do you feel sick or dizzy?
No.
Have you been drinking?
No, I don't drink.
Are you on any drugs?
Pardon?
Are you on any medication?
No. I take some cough pastilles during the day, but...
Okay. Give me your wrist.
And I came home late. It was the month of the audit. You know what that means. And well, there wasn't any in the cupboard. Any cat food, that is.
Wait a moment.
You've stopped bleeding. Look, all stopped. Oh, come along, get yourself up. Look, you don't want me to get a porter to take you out in a wheelchair, do you? Are you listening to me? No, I've told you. I've stitched you up. It's all done. You can't stay there. I've got other patients to see. I don't think they'll appreciate having to step right over you. Right. Now, there we go. Now, that wasn't very clever, was it? I'm going to get your clothes all dirty.
This is home, sister.
I'm really losing my patience. You hear me? I've done everything.
And there wasn't any in the cupboard. Any
Nurse, take his blood pressure.
cat food, that is. And not any of the flavours that she liked. And then I remembered that I had an emergency supply on top of the cupboard. Is it concussion?
Shh. What is it?
0.
Stand clear. Can we get a bag? Still no pulse. Nurse, pulse check. We're going to need a CPR.
Feldman, are you sure this machine is working properly?
Well, it was this morning, Doctor.
Okay. Well, I'm afraid we've lost him. How long has this since crashed?
22 minutes.
You can disconnect him. How are you feeling, Mr. Wheaton?
I'm feeling fine.
I see. Miss Feldman, would you get me 20 milligrams of Valium, please?
Yes, Doctor.
I'm afraid I have some bad news for you, Mr. Wheaton. We did just about everything we possibly could. I'm afraid it just wasn't enough.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Well, the fact is you have no pulse, you have no brain waves, your blood pressure is nil. You, in fact, show absolutely no medical signs of life.
And what does that mean?
I've checked with the Medical Association's guidelines, and they all concur with my diagnosis.
I'm dead.
I know, it must seem rather strange. I mean, you're obviously quite conscious, and you probably feel as right as rain, but we have performed every possible test. It's probable that what you're undergoing is merely a sort of reflex action. You know when you chop off a chicken's head? Sometimes it continues to run around for some minutes after as well. I'm sure that's all it is. Very soon you'll start to feel drowsy and you'll just drift quietly off into sleep. Mind you, yours is rather an exceptional and rare condition. I personally have never encountered it before. In fact, I'd like to write about your case in the medical journals, if that would be all right with you. You might make medical history. Now, unfortunately, I do have other patients waiting, so if you don't mind, I'll just get on with the paperwork.
Well, I'm afraid I do mind. I think you've made a mistake. I feel fine. In fact, I've never felt finer. I think I'd know if I was dead.
A mistake?
Yes. Yes, I think, obviously, you've made a slight mistake.
Have you any idea how many years I've worked in this hospital, Mr. Wheaton? Or how many years before that I was treating colds in Darlington? I'm sorry if this is upsetting for you, but really I can't help it.
In that case, I'd like a second opinion.
No,
Why not?
because there aren't any doctors. They're all busy.
I know my rights.
What rights are they, Mr. Wheaton? A living person may have certain rights, but you apparently are not a living person. Now, let's get back to work, shall we? I have to fill out the official certificate. Name, Gordon Wheaton. Date of birth. Your date of birth, Mr. Wheaton?
How can I answer any of your questions when I'm showing no medical signs of life?
That's not a very helpful attitude, Mr. Wheaton. Look, I have patients queuing up out there, and many of them are in a far worse condition than you. I've been on duty now for over 12 hours. All I want to do is finish my shift, go home, and get some sleep. You can't enjoy hanging about here. The sooner we get this over and done with, the sooner you can just...
20 milligrams of Valium, Doctor.
Thank you, Nurse. Now then, date of birth?
28th of September, 1938.
Thank you.
My money's on a brain hemorrhage. You been having any headaches lately?
Well, yes. Now and again.
Yes, I know. You just took a couple of aspirin and forgot all about it. I see it all the time. People never learn. Well, if you'd just had a routine checkup, it could have been treated, and you would now be alive. Have you learned your lesson, Mr. Wheaton?
Yes, I suppose I have.
I'm wanted elsewhere.
What are you going to do, Doctor?
There's nothing more I can do, Mr. Wheaton, I'm afraid.
Well, you just can't leave me.
You just finish that off for me, nurse. Look, I have signed at the bottom.
Well, aren't you going to do any tests or operate or something? Doctor. Wait, Doctor.
Calm down, Mr. Wheaton. It won't help getting yourself into a state. I don't suppose you had a donor card?
No.
Pity.
Why?
Well, you didn't smoke or drink. You're in quite good shape.
You mean to say if I'd had one, then I could be running around with no kidneys? Well, in that case, I'm very pleased I didn't have one.
Well, that's a bit selfish, don't you think? When there are people up in the wards critically ill because there aren't enough transplants.
Well, if you call it selfish, not wanting to have bits chopped off you, then yes, I suppose I am selfish.
Right. I sometimes forget that I'm not still working on the children's ward. I still haven't got used to the change. I was there for 6 years before they shut the ward and I was transferred. You don't find a lot of self-pity there. Not that they don't have reason. We'd kept boys and girls, some only toddlers battered by their own parents, children with leukemia, babies born with heart defects and brain tumours. Oh, we did everything we could. We did anything we could. We'd work double, triple shifts if we thought it would help. And still sometimes you'd get a child and there was simply nothing more you could do. You knew he wasn't going to pull through. And you just had to stand by and watch. Oh, we never told them, of course. We used to try and joke with them and tell them they'd soon get better. But somehow towards the end, they always seemed to know. And you know, in all the time I was there, I don't think I ever saw a single one cry.
No, if it's self-pity you want to see, you go to the adult wards. Yes.
Hi. Mr. Wheaton? How do you do? I'm Dr. Vernon Merrill, and I'm here dealing with your case.
I shouldn't really be here. For some reason, they seem to think I'm dead.
Yes, I know. Dr. Chambers rang, and he said that you were coming, and I must say I was rather looking forward to speaking to you. I don't often get a chance to talk to my patients. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. People do seem to be rather squeamish about my work. Not really fair. If you're a surgeon, everyone wants to hear about your work, even though we train just as much as they do.
Look, I don't want to be rude, but I've got other things to do. And as you can see, I'm perfectly all right. So, if you could just do whatever you have to do to get me released.
Yes, of course. Now, don't worry, Mr. Wheaton. We'll get you out of here in no time. I must say, I was rather surprised that I got a call from Dr. Chambers. The doctors upstairs don't normally talk to us. I think they think that there's something wrong with us. We're just them downstairs. Unless, of course, there's a malpractice case, and then they're down here like a shot. Could you perhaps not notice this? Could you perhaps lose some small part of... But I don't. That would be, wouldn't it? Yes. Well, I suppose that's one of the least enjoyable aspects of the job. Of course, I should be used to it by now. There are good points about it. You can work in your own speed, nobody interferes, and you don't have to put up with a constant barrage of old women whinging about their bunions. And, so... Well, I don't have a very good bedside manner. Although nowadays, I don't get many complaints. Well, I don't suppose you want to listen to me nittering or nattering away, chat, chat, chat. No. Comfortable, are you? Is there anything I can do to help?
I'm fine.
Good.
What are you doing?
What? Well, I have to find out what went wrong, you see. Dr. Chambers said that it was a possible hemorrhage, and, well, we have to check it out.
But I've told you, I'm not dead. Can a dead man get up and walk? Can a dead man talk? You're not listening, are you?
Well, we'll find out soon enough, won't we? I'll just pop you open, have a little look inside, and then we'll soon tell if there's any hemorrhaging.
You're not.
Don't worry. That won't scratch the skin, never mind getting to the bone. No. This is the baby. Don't worry, Mr. Wheaton. I'll put you under first. You're mad.
happened?
How are you feeling, Mr. Wheaton?
I don't know. A bit dizzy.
Yes, well, that's perfectly normal.
I mean, I'm all right now.
Yes, of course you are, Mr. Wheaton. You might feel a little strange at first, but you'll get used to it. Do you want to try sitting up?
What happened to those people? They were trying to kill me. I still don't understand.
Come along. I have people coming through all the time. Besides, your parents are waiting for you.
My parents are dead.
That's right, and they're just outside.
No. No.